Poison? Well, there's two kinds. One wasn't enough. One is all rainbow goopiness. Doesn't do much to ponies like me and Cora, though. Sometimes the fatties get in it and it makes them even weirder. Those red ponies once fell in some and got all mutated up. Doc put him down with his poison breath. That's this nasty pink gas. There's clouds of it way down in the bottom. Only Doc goes down there. She smirked, her pointed teeth glintering. Doc said I wasn't supposed to wander around, but I did anyway. Broke a bunch of stuff, too. She gave a little shrug. It seemed to be the filly's default gesture. I actually laughed a little at that. Then I thought a little more about what Psychoshy had said. Hey, Precious. Psychoshy said that there was something bad after Sanguine. He said that I'd woken something in the core? Oh. Well, yeah. He was screaming about that. I don't know what started it. I was asleep then. But I guess when some big ship blew up, he went all crazy. He said that if some program thingy was blowed up, then nothing would stop the bad thing in the city from coming out and eating every pony or something. I didn't really pay attention. A whole lot of ponies wanted to hurt him. I wonder why. Did he ever say anything about why he wanted the program? Just that he needed to fix things. I don't know what, though. Nothing I broke, I think. I frowned. That sounded a lot different than what I'd heard before. Making monsters and using the wasteland as his own personal laboratory. Or selling Chimera to Red Eye. I took a stab in the dark. Did he mention a pony named Golden Blood or any special secret project? Oh, yeah. He called him every name I knew and a whole lot of other really bad things. He was going on and on about that Goldie pony screwing everything up because of something he did. Said it was gonna kill us all. She looked out the window again towards the city. Don't know how bad it is. Good, strong fart would kill most ponies of this place. I nodded and sat there. I was still feeling a lethargy. But now I was moving. It began to fall behind. I'd blown a hand, and I wasn't even busted yet. Well, not quite yet. I was ready to ante up once again. Thanks for talking to me, Precious. Sure, Precious murmured. You sure you're not going to do anything? Mm-hmm, I said with a nod, then walked her downstairs. Scotch tape blinked owlishly at our arrival. Oh, you were talking to Blackjack? She said softly as she rubbed her eyes with a hoof. Hey, Blackjack, do you have any more of those mint candies? They were really good. No. Sorry, Scotch. Afraid we have to go back to Tenpony if you want to get some. Or you can try and take Rampages, I suggested with a smile. She didn't return it. I was just hoping if I took it, maybe P21 would talk to me, she said. They made me feel like I knew, just what to say. Now I just feel like one big lump of stupid. I sighed and sat beside her. You're not allowed to think of yourself as a big lump of stupid till you get some pony who doesn't deserve it killed, young lady, I added in mock sternness. She still wasn't smiling, and I shook. A part of me, a big part, just wanted to curl back up on that bed. I was just going to screw her up even more. I mean, I'd even given her drugs to try and win, and sure, it worked. But now she was paying the price for luring Precious away from Sanguine. Paying the price from a mistake. I felt it. It was almost like gravity pulling me down. But it wasn't all inside my brain. And it would be so easy to just give in and let it sweep me away. But Scotch was here, and she needed help. I could give her that. Come here, Scotch, I said, as I pulled her into a hug and patted her mane. Precious just looked on silently, wistfully. I lifted Scotch's chin and looked into her green eyes. It's not you, okay? It's not. It's not that you're not smart enough or nice enough. But I don't understand why you won't talk to me about it. About Mama. About anything. She sniffed as she looked away. Listen, I murmured softly. When a pony gets hurt really badly, it changes him. The flesh and blood heal, but some things we experience just stay with us. And we stay hurt. It makes us angry and scared. Makes us hate ourselves for being weak. You remember what happened on the boat? She cringed. I heard what they were doing. I wanted to help you, but you told me to hide and were screaming and they nailed you to the floor. She looked anguished. You were doing all that to save me, to keep them from doing that to me. I heard the noise and what they called you and you screaming, and then they were beating you, and all I could do was cry. I was useless. No scotch. No, I said, as I held her in my hooves. You weren't useless. You kept me going. As long as you were okay, they did that to me, and it didn't really matter. It hurt. It hurt a damned lot. And I think it'll always hurt. But so long as you were okay, I was able to take it. If something, anything, had happened to you, then I wouldn't have been able to go on. I brushed her mane gently. You're the one I saved, Scotch. Twice, she murmured. Then she looked over at P-21's room. So, he was once hurt like you were. Something like that, I said softly. But where I was only hurt for an hour or so, he was hurt his entire life. It's hard. That hurt doesn't go away. He has to carry it wherever he goes. But he wants to talk to you, Scotch Tape. I know he does. He's just scared, and that makes him angry. It's easier to push every pony away and bottle up his feelings inside. It's not you, Scotch. It just isn't. I guess, she said, still not convinced. Are you sure you don't have any more of those menthol thingies, though? She flushed at my look, then stammered. For him, not me, though I really like them. Like I said, you want more? Get them from Rampage, I said, and I just hoped that the Reaper had the sense not to give her any. Ah, okay. She nodded and started back towards the couch, but I cleared my throat. She looked back at me, and I nodded to the front door. She looked at me, to the door, then blushed bright red and nodded and trotted out. I turned and walked quietly to the door of P-21's room, knocking with a hoof before I pushed it open. I knew he'd be awake. After what happened to Priest, who could sleep? He lay on his bed with Priest's sketches spread out before him. At the sight of me, he gave a look of surprise, followed by the smallest of smiles. Hey, you're back. I was surprised to see Rampage with him, but then she'd loved Priest too. I went somewhere? I said with a frown, as I trot towards him. For a while, you were back on that Masteress, right after Scootle died, he murmured softly. Less shit and vomit and radiation poisoning, but still back there all the same. Yeah, I had to go pee, I murmured. I thought you wet the bed, Rampage teased with a little smirk. It didn't reach her eyes. Her cutie mark was that strange amorphous rolling blob. These days, I don't even want to imagine what comes out my rear end. Think it might be somewhere between magical waste and flamer fuel, I said as I glanced back at my rump. Then I saw the concern in his eyes and sighed. It's been a crazy month, hasn't it? Who knew life outside the stable would be like this? Sometimes it doesn't seem so different, he replied. You should have seen it 30 years or so back. Think it's a mess now? Imagine every block being held by a different gang or tribe. You couldn't piss without some pony blowing your flank off, Rampage replied. No finders, no reapers, no eggheads, just ponies killing ponies for a few more blocks to salvage. It must have been a trick to start chapel in the middle of all that, I murmured softly. Just the two of you? Originally it was Priest. This scrawny little black unicorn looking to avoid being pressed into the half-hearts. He was actually trying to fix that ratty church up. It seemed crazy to me. Why build a wasteland where everything is dead and falling apart? The world was pain and blood and hatred, yet there he was, trying to help me. I didn't get it. I couldn't understand it. I thought, when he brought me home to Star House, that he was just going to fuck my ass like every other stallion. But he wanted to help. He really did. Like Scalpel and Bonesaw, the wandering miracle doctors. She sighed and shook her head. I fell in love with him, and he was young enough and good enough to think he was in love with me. Had to get him drunk our first time, though. It was a nice few months, but he was faking it, and so was I. But by then, I was pregnant. She sighed and gave me a sad, regretful smile. I wouldn't recommend it personally. Threw a whole world of awkward into an already weird thing. And then what happened? P21 said in quiet, polite tones. I winced, but she simply smiled, maybe a little sadder. When I realized that it wasn't working out, I thought of leaving. But, even if I hadn't been pregnant, we already had a dozen fillies and colts living in the post office. Pilgrims to come off themselves at the bridge, and they'd give Priest their caps and supplies. He'd give them a friendly ear. Half-hearts tried to take the town, but I convinced them not to. I think it was Priest they respected, though. They really go for the whole stoic thing. She nudged P21. They'd love you. He flushed and looked away. I just wish we could have been more. I sighed softly. I'm sorry about Priest. I thought when I trotted in that I'd see Sanguine and just blam. Or that I'd get the ghoul talking and jump him, or insult his mother and get him to shoot me instead, or something. I closed my eyes. I just kept seeing him blowing Sonata's brains out. Charity dying. Him hiding behind Priest so I couldn't get a good shot. And then Vermilion was there threatening to blow everybody up. I shivered, continuing. I was so certain that he was going to kill her. I was positive that any second I'd see her die. That the price to beat him was her death. I think Priest saw it too, P21 said quietly. He knew that if he didn't act, some pony would die, and so we had to stop them. It was the kind of thing he'd do. I patted his shoulder. Sorry I fell apart like that. Why did you? Rampage asked softly. You've been through more in a month, then. Any pony, I think. Was it Priest dying? Losing EC 1101? What did it? That got a look from P21.